Oh my God, that was
Oh
funny.
my God. Goes to the birds.
It goes to the birds. So fantastic. Well, I would love to welcome everybody here watching this to this very special conversation. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. And this is a dear friend of mine, somebody that I know very well, soul sister, Tiiu Wise. And we're going to have a little conversation about life in general, but also about Tiiu's amazing work and her vision for humanity. So, Tiiu, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me in your wonderful podcast.
Oh,
And yeah,
thank you.
it's like I just love talking to you every time when we had the chance. And ever since I saw you on the screen on the meeting, I was like, I need to know this woman. I need to connect with her somehow. It was just
Yeah.
felt the energy. Woohoo. Energy.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
what
And
we
I
need
saw
to talk.
you and I was like, who's that? Who's that girl? I was like, she's blonde and sparkly and funny. And so we kind of
Oh dear.
met that way through so yeah, let's talk about how we met. Maybe it's good to start there. How did we meet?
We both belong to a group on LinkedIn. It's called Super Freaks. And actually, when I first heard this name, I'm like, no, I'm not going to be a freak. Like frequency. It's like, it sounds like
Frequency.
freaky. I like the frequency. We're super frequency holders. I can get on board with.
Yeah,
There's nothing freaky about that. And so that's how we met through this meeting. We both showed up one day there, and then I'm like, oh, who's this woman? I really like her. And so I think I contacted you, or you
you
contacted me.
did. You reached out
Yeah.
to me. I think on we connected on LinkedIn and then you said, "Hey, look, why don't we have a conversation?" And we hopped on a call and that was it. We kind of like I don't know, just completely obsessed with each other. You know, as you do like when you meet someone at school and you're like, I really like them. And
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like doing texting each other and it was kind of
I know. Yeah, it's like I almost could read your mind. Like, oh, I know what she's thinking because I'm thinking the same thing. And it's
yeah,
like, we're like,
yeah,
well, that's cool. And yeah, we never met in person, but I'm sure it's going to happen in the near future.
absolutely. So Tio, tell people a little bit about yourself, maybe a little background bio.
Hmm. Yeah, we need like 3 hours because I'm 4 years old, so I have a lot of years to go. But I always say I'm sort of like a uh, going with the flow kind of girl, even though I didn't really know that I was. And when I look back, it's like my life has been just leading me to different things. Like, let's just go back a little bit. I come from a broken family. So I was like, my daddy, I was a daddy's girl, and daddy left.
Mm,
So obviously, as we know now, we make a kind of conclusions about ourselves. What happens when somebody you really dearly love leaves you? So my whole life up until I'd say 50 was dealing with that. But then, meanwhile, I was drawn to arts, meaning acting, singing, stuff like that, just to. And now, when I look back, I kind of know why I was drawn to that because there I could be somebody else,
mm.
not this broken girl. I could be a queen. I could be a teacher. I could be anybody. So I ended up going to university, the music academy in my home country. I'm, by the way, from Estonia, a little
Mm.
country in Europe, just south of Finland, if people don't know. And so I ended up becoming an opera singer because that combined acting and singing. So here you go. So I went there, even though I never went to opera before. I had no idea what I'm getting myself into. I didn't even particularly like it because it was so unnatural. People just howling on this on the street and nobody understands what they're saying. But anyways, so that was my career. And then one of the performances, I was a leading soprano in Estonian opera, national opera. And then one evening after my performance, I hear the knock on my dressing room door, and this lady comes in. I say, I really like the way you sang, and it's so wonderful. Would you like to come to Canada? In those days,
Mm.
Estonia was still part of Soviet Union. So I'm
Mm.
like, all right, this lady is really cool, cool. Like, how am I going to get out of here? Like, really? And
Mm.
of course, I tend to say yes to everything. And I said, of course, yeah. And so, long story short, a few months later, I got an invitation and I got a visa and a plane ticket, and off I went to Toronto, Canada. And that was 35 years ago. I came
What
here
year was, sorry, what year was that?
1990. So I think, yeah, it's like 35,
So just before
36
the
years
Berlin
ago.
Wall fell, or is it after the Berlin Wall?
It was after Berlin Wall, but it was just before the Soviet Union fell apart.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so I was always joking, I should have left earlier, then we would have gotten our independence. I was holding it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up in Toronto, Canada for 2 weeks, and it has been like 36 years now, 35, 36 already. Yeah, 1990, I think.
Did you claim asylum? Is that what you did? Political
No,
asylum?
no, because I was invited to perform in Toronto for Estonian community.
Okay.
And so that's how I got my visa to come here for 2 weeks. And then me going with the flow and not thinking much of anything, oh, what am I really doing? I met some singing coaches in Toronto and concertmeisters and all these people who were helping me to learn and get a sort of like become a better singer, I guess. That's what it was. And it was so interesting. So I was like, oh, I can't really go home yet. I need to extend my visa. And I extended and extended. And Jacqueline, it's I didn't believe in angels. I wasn't ever a spiritual person. But now looking back again, it felt
Mm.
as if angels were with me as soon as I stepped foot on this soil here. Oh, it just makes me have goosebumps and crying. And at the same time, I felt I'm home when
Mm.
I came to Canada. And so what happened, it's almost like unbelievable what happened. I'm here. I was provided a place to stay for 2 weeks, and this lady who invited me, she was busy with other things. I got a family who took me in for another 2 weeks. Then I had met a lady who said she has an empty house in Toronto. She's not living there. She gave me her keys. I was in Ottawa at the time. I was singing there. And she gave me the key to her house. She just met me.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
moved. It's like, wow, like what is happening? It almost felt like I need to stay here because life, angels, spirits, whatever, just wanted me to be able to stay. And then so I lived in her house for a little while. And then I met a gentleman who heard me sing again in a New Year's Eve ball. And he offered his help to make me permanent residency here, to give me the residency. He hired lawyers and so one thing led to another, and I just stayed. It's like I came for 2 weeks, and it's been 36 years. I went back
Wow.
times because I had a daughter, like I still have a daughter, not had a daughter. Me and my
So your daughter was back home in Estonia and
Estonia, yeah,
with her fam
with my
your
mother.
family, with your mother.
Hmm. Yeah. And so I went to visit, and for a year I couldn't go back because if I would have gone back, that was still Soviet Union times, I wouldn't have been able to come back to
That
Canada.
must have been really hard for you.
Oh, Jacqueline, it's
Oh,
like I was bawling my eyes out when I was eating bananas because I knew my daughter couldn't have them. And it's like,
oh,
this and loneliness, and I don't know what is happening. Then I got a job as a singing waitress and making a little bit of money and just always helped and helped and helped. And then eventually, when I got my landed immigrant status, I could bring my daughter here. And my daughter was 9 years old when I left.
Mhm.
So that's another thing I had to come to terms with, not blaming myself and knowing why I did it. Because I knew that both of us would have a better future here in Canada.
It's
So
very true of a lot of, sorry to interrupt you, but it's
yeah,
very
it's like,
true of a lot of immigrants who, mothers who make that choice of sacrifice for their children's future as well as their own. Yeah.
yes, yeah, and they finally, I brought her here when I was already a citizen. I got my citizenship. It all took years, like 5 years later. It's not like, oh, you just come and you're done. No, I had to go through all this stuff, and finally I brought her here. And then by the time she was in grade 8, she was 14, I think. It was like 5 years later. So she was a teenager. She hated me for bringing her here because her friends,
Mm,
everybody was there. So I had to deal with that.
yeah,
And
right. On top of
they,
everything's,
I know. And then it's
mm,
like, oh, did I do the right thing? Why did I do that?
yeah,
What kind of a mother leaves her daughter behind and all this stuff? And it's been so many years now. Um, and we worked through it. Mind you,
hmm
even though I wasn't spiritual, I wasn't religious, but at that time I was really depressed. I didn't know what to do before my daughter came here. Because I said, how can I bring her here? Like, what I'm gonna do? So when I turned 30, um, I I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I just thought, I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna check out of this world because like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix the mess I've created. And then
right.
something happened. That was the beginning, I think, my spiritual awakening in the moment when I was about to take a bunch of pills. I had them in my hand, and I was in the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and instead of myself, I saw my daughter's face.
Mm,
And uh, then I just like, kind of woke up. It's like, what am I doing?
yeah. What am I
How
doing?
is this? How is this going to help her?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
It would
and
have
then,
ruined her life.
yeah, it's like bad enough my mother left me here with my grandmother, and now she's not even ever going to come and take me to her. So that was the lowest point, I would say, in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then something happened. I threw all these pills down the toilet. And I told the man I was with at the time, the same one who helped me to stay in Canada, that it's over. I can't continue our relationship because he didn't want her here. He helped me
Mm,
knowing that I have a daughter,
yeah,
but he just like he said I can't, like they wouldn't forbid me, like he couldn't do it, but he made sure that that's not going to work out. So I'm like, okay, this needs to end. I'm going to find my way. And so that's when it started. Kind of, I looked for friends, and somebody took me to Unity Church. I read Celestine Prophecy because that's what we were reading at that time at that church.
can I just stop you there? So, I mean, just to speak to the audience, because we make this universal. So many people had their coming spiritual awakening through the Celestine prophecies, like one of the first books they read, that and the Four Agreements. So it's interesting that you also read that book and it just went for you.
Yes, and then I started to look for what else is there.
Yeah,
And it's like, why are we suffering so much here? Why are we hurting each other? And
yeah.
and it has to be something more to this life than that I knew. And I started searching. And so the search, like usual, like we pretty much like every time I talk to anybody who is in the spiritual path, they start with Buddhism, like they go to Christianity, and then I connected with Jesus. Like I just knew him somehow. Like I never read a Bible, I didn't know anything, but I know that Jesus is walking with me.
Mm.
It was just,
Because you were an atheist, weren't you raised an atheist?
yes, oh yeah, no religion
So,
whatsoever.
so this Jesus thing came out of nowhere. But before that, didn't you believe it? You believed in angels, right? That was your,
Yes, a little bit.
yeah.
I kind of like, I didn't
Mm.
really believe in anything. I
Yeah.
believed in the head and the body and the crappy life. That's what I believed in. That's what come here and suffer and then we die, and that's the end of it.
Mm.
So it's kind of silly to even think about it now, but it was my reality at the time. And I've seen pictures of Jesus, and it's just kind of the halo and all this, and it's like, wow, like I love him. And
Yeah.
when Christian people try to turn me into Christianity, say, oh, you have to find Jesus. I'm like, thank you very much.
You found
I
me.
found him. I found him. I love the dude. I'm with him. And
He wears Levi's.
it's like, I'm with Jesus. It is so corny and kind of like, really apologize for Christian people, because I don't mean to make fun of it, but I truly,
No, no, but
it's
yeah.
just, then I went to Buddhism. And that was an interesting thing too. Before I even knew anything about Buddhism, I went to Hawaii and I went to this park where was this huge, humongous statue of Buddha. And I go and stand in front of it, and it looks like he's smiling at me or he's like moving. And I'm like, whoa, like, what is that? I wasn't doing any drugs ever. So it's not hallucination. The dude was talking to me. And I didn't even know who he was. Then I started researching later. It's like, what is this Buddha? Like, then next thing I know, I'm studying Buddhism with nuns in a temple.
Was it
So
Tibetan nuns or
no, they were
Chinese?
Chinese because I managed to sort of meet them in the multicultural festival in the park. They
Mm.
were selling tea, and they were selling also little, not selling, but there were like these little booklets with their masters' writings in it. And I started reading. I'm like, what is this? I really resonate with this. And it's like, oh yeah, we have this Chinese, English speaking classes in the temple every Saturday, and you can come. So
Mm.
I went
Mm-hmm.
there for many years, and then ended up actually taking a vow into triple gem, Buddha, Sangha, and Dharma. And I even was given a Buddha or a Buddhist Dharma name, which is Guan Ding.
Mm.
So my name is Guan Ding. That Tiiu was
It's
hard.
it's quite hard to pronounce as well.
I know, I was like, oh, not any better
Give me
than my
another hard name.
true name. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Guan Ding was given
What
to
did
me.
it
And
mean? Sorry, what did it actually mean though in
I actually asked them because I'm like, what is his name? How did they give me that name? And it means mindfulness and meditation, apparently.
okay.
And so it was kind of ironic because I didn't like meditation at all. I knew that, oh, you got to do it, and everybody's
Why
talking.
didn't you like it?
I don't know. I just said, it's not for me. Like one of those things we do, that subconscious mind, that not the subconscious, but the lower brain, the reptilian brain is like holding us back. It's like something new. Oh, not for me. I'm doing just fine. And so it came from so many different angles at me, the meditation. That I read Sonia Chocat's book, the first one, about something psychic something. I don't remember what it was, but I remember the words. Unless you start meditating, you would never get in touch with your true self,
Mm.
or that the psychic, the intuitive. That's what you are. I'm like, oh God, that again. I guess I better start doing it.
Mm-hmm. You can't
And
escape.
no, you can't, because once you need to hear the message, it comes from everywhere. And then I started studying medical qigong, and
Mm. Mm-hmm.
what? I had to meditate again.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
of course I signed up for 10 years to become a qigong teacher, and then all this kind of stuff. So always learning, always doing something, always perfecting, almost like now I know that there is nothing wrong with us. We always just perfect. We're the way we are. But at the time, being a self-help junkie, like trying to improve and improve and improve, I didn't know that I'm looking for this.
Could we dig into that?
Yeah.
I really appreciate you laying out this linear path, and we'll get back to it. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I think there are jump-in points that are really interesting. We just don't know who's watching this, and I think that you've touched on something that is so common in an awakening, the beginnings of an awakening journey, and it's this. I've got to solve this problem. I'm in this riddle. I've got to solve it, right? And I'm just going to keep grabbing and searching and seeking, going from this, that, and the other. And do you want to speak a little bit to that? Like, what do you know now? What would you tell yourself back then if you could speak?
If I could speak to the young woman at the time who was searching, I would tell her to sit down on your bum on the chair and be still, be quiet.
Hmm.
Ah,
Even you
that,
just, even you just saying that just went,
ah, yes. And then you can't find yourself out there. You can't go soul searching and travel the world and look for another guru because you are the one. Ah, you
it
are the,
reminds me of Eat, Pray, Love. That line, right? She
yeah.
travels the world. I went to paradise, but I never went to me. That wasn't from the film, but that's also a song, and it's like,
Oh,
right?
it would, yes, and that's so true. That's the only truth. We're always looking for some truth and whose truth. But I would tell her just to sit and trust that just by breathing in and breathing out and knowing that you're breathing in
Mm,
and knowing that you're breathing out, you can quiet this mind, what is trying to keep you from actually finding what you're looking for. And then connecting, the opening yourself up to the flow of energy from the universe into the body. And then letting it flow, just when you're sitting there, flow into the Mother
mhm,
Earth, to the core of the molten lava. And you just sit there, and the mind is telling you, oh, this is not doing anything. And how is this going to work? And I would tell this 30-year-old or 35-year-olds and then 40-year-old me is like, just trust that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing broken and nothing missing.
mhm.
And that's where we get this self-improvement, self-help. We're searching some new stuff for, and we never find it because we're looking for something we are.
Right. Do you mind if I just jump in here?
Yes,
So
definitely.
one of the things that I observe is that we live in this capitalist mercantile consumer society that instills and teaches us that we're missing something always, whether it's the wrong toothpaste. And what's happened is, I feel, this is just my opinion, is that we've got this multi-trillion dollar new thought, new age movements that create the same feeling. You've just awakened, you've got questions, we've got the answers for you. Let us save you that journey. And everybody's peddling their story, their way, their teachings. And I feel like people who are newly awakened should really listen right now to Tiiu and just really take that in, that the fact that you've got woken up and said, "Whoa, what the heck is going on?" is a really powerful sign that all of the answers are going to start bubbling up. And all you to Taya's point, all you have to do is stay still enough, regularly enough for that information to come up. And then you can confirm it. So if you hear it out there with somebody else, you go, "Oh, okay, that's interesting because that's what I'm feeling right now." So it's inside out, not outside validation in. You don't need a guru, right?
Oh, no. And that you kind of, it's helpful to get some pointers from
Yeah.
people who are kind of on the way um, to where we want to go. If
Mm-hmm.
they're two steps ahead of us, it's good to say, oh, how did you do that? And what I
Yeah.
found now is the most important thing, because we're all awakened. That's like a buzzword now, awakening,
An
awakening.
ascension. Everybody's like, oh my God.
Oh God, don't get me
Let's just
started.
let's just gripe. Let's gripe it. Let's vent. Let's rant. Because if I hear this one more time, I'm like, okay, define ascension, right? Because ascension implies that there are people that aren't going to go up there. They're going to stay down here. And so, what is that about, right?
Mm, yes, yeah, we got it all upside down, really, because we are the light. We
Mm-hmm.
are the limitless, infinite beings of light. And there was light, and the light compressed into matter and created us. So before I become me as a
Mm-hmm.
person and you as Jacqueline,
Mm.
we were energy, we were just vibration of light. And then compressing because we chose. That's another thing. We don't need to ascend, we have to descend. We have
Thank you.
to embody ourselves
Thank you
as
for saying that.
the light.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
that
for
is so
saying that.
dangerous. You're welcome, because I just like, I get goosebumps. I get so excited
I
about
just
it.
got the goosebumps too. So,
Oh, you know,
ooh,
it's like all these people who teach us the enlightenment and Kundalini and all this stuff. It's all good, but it tends to take us out of here.
out of this beautiful body, which is your temple.
Ah, I know. And then we're not okay with our bodies. We're not okay with rich people.
Mm-hmm.
We're not okay with government. We're not okay with anything, because I just want to be in bliss out there.
Mm-hmm.
No, bringing us in as this light, as the energy, descending into this human form, which is beautiful. It is a temple of the soul. We hear all that, right? But it's like, what does it really mean? Um, I chose to take this body and to come into this earth, incarnate at this particular time, which is actually a very wonderful time. We did well.
It's a VIP ticket.
Exactly. How lucky for us to become.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's searching and searching and searching, just sit and imagine that you don't need to become enlightened, because you are enlightened being. And what we talk about awakening, it's not awakening to hating everybody else and, oh, we are better because we're spiritual. No, it's awakening to knowing that I am enlightened being momentarily residing in this physical form.
Yep. Yep. A descended master. Everybody who's here is a descended master. It isn't easy to descend spirit and light into matter. It isn't. It's a master skill. It's not a lottery. It's hard. So the fact
Really?
that you're here, two boots on the ground at this auspicious time, Cosmic Age is just about to erupt for us. The world is going to change as we know it. And look at us, we are lucid and we're having these conversations with using technology. We're able to connect to anyone in the world in real time. What a great
Mm-hmm.
time to be alive, right? And it's only going to get better and better and better. So
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah. That's why it's like my biggest passion and my desires is to tell everybody who wants to listen that you are not broken, because we have so many issues. We have dealing with problems all the time. Instead of problems, can we live in a solution, which I am. You are. Everybody who's listening, you are the solution if you just let go of the need to fix things.
Right.
Oh,
It ain't broken. So, I jokingly say that Tiiu and I are in the chocolate cake for breakfast club.
Yeah, I know, why not, right?
Because if you're infinite, there's no such thing as spiritual diabetes. I'm not recommending chocolate cake every day for breakfast, but Tiiu and I actually joked, why the hell not if you wake up one day and fancy chocolate cake with your coffee in the morning? Why not have it? It's like, why do we have all these ridiculous rules about everything? You're here to experience and enjoy life.
Yes, yeah, I know who made all these rules, and but I know that we operate from, like, I call it almost like we're under spells, what have been on us
Mm,
before we even born. It comes from the mothers and fathers, what they were thinking, what they were feeling. We just
hmm
took it into our system. We have no idea. We were just these beings of light coming into this form. And then we pick up all that. And then the most dramatic experience, we get born and then pushed into this bright lights and cold. And
Pull you up, they spank your butt, stick
oh,
things in
it's
your
like,
ears, I
oh
mean,
my
up your
God.
nose.
Yeah, it's like, let me
Yeah.
out of here. This is why some souls decide that, oh, it's too hard, I'm out. And
Mm,
anyways, that's what I think that
mm, mm.
and then we go to school and the parents telling you always, no, don't do this, don't do
Well, then
that.
you're institutionalized, right? So you go from your home life, then you go into your institution, which is school, which is only designed, it's not for a curious mind. It's to lock you up under fluorescent lights long enough so that you can become a good factory worker, good
Yeah.
worker. Ding, 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 time to go home and have your dinner. And then they wonder why so many kids are staring out of the window and just don't take any notice and get hyperactive. It's not natural for our children to be held in an artificial institutions, and then they're told to go to university, and then they get told even more rubbish, you know what I mean, like other people's ideas. I'm not saying university's rubbish, but I'm saying you get
Mhm.
bombarded with other people's ideas, and then you go out into the workplace, and then before you know it, you're either getting married and having your own children. That starts up a whole thing, you know, or you're just hustling, and it's set up to keep you constantly scrambling and not in touch with yourself. And most little children, if you're around little children or animals, they're really in touch with themselves. And that's how we all start out. Now, I've experienced some of your work, and I find you to be incredibly embodied and intuitive, if I could use those two words in context with Tiiu. You have, I feel you have a real deep connection with Mother Earth. Your femininity is very powerful. So that's something that you exude as part of your work. So do you want to tell people what gift you give in your partnering with people?
Yes, so
Mm.
like I said, I want everybody to know that there's nothing wrong with them, nothing broken, nothing missing. And what I help people to do through diligent work, mind you, it's not like, oh, you just read about it and you know it. And that's not deep knowing. I want people, when they work with me, to experience what it really feels like, even maybe a second, that maybe I am the light she's talking about. What does it feel in my body?
Mm.
How do and I help them. We do some qigong moves. We do breathing exercises. Everything to do with embodying, bringing people back into the body by using the body, not just dreaming about it.
Mm.
Actually, using the physical body, the muscles, like our perineum muscle, for example,
Hmm.
or muscles that hold our hearts together here. So it's like people talk about opening the heart and being with the open heart in the head. No, my heart is here. My heart center is here. I squeeze my shoulders back and down and I live from my heart.
Mm.
And then speaking my truth and hearing the truth. So what I do, I kind of make everything tangible and realistic and kind of numb it down or dumb it down or whatever the word is, that everybody could understand that it's not something that there's few of us can do. or read the auras, or mind you, I don't do any of that. I didn't even like the word chakras before. So I really studied it to make sure that this stuff is actually workable. It's actually useful for me in this flesh and blood. And started understanding that the chakras are just different levels of consciousness. Why do I want to work with a solar plexus, for example, is like, this is my power, this is my thousand suns. So I teach specific exercises for specific chakras. And also teaching people, you know how you sometimes you have a good mood, in a good mood, and you go to some party and there's somebody there who pushes your buttons.
Yeah.
And what happens then? You feel like you just want to run away, you
Hmm.
want to go home, or whatever. You feel all like, ugh. So what I
Yeah.
teach people is how to train yourself to stay always in the subject, which is
Which is
always
what?
our center, the true you, the light. Because I teach people how to stay in this beam of light, in the channel. And what's the funnel comes into the channel through the body. It's a central channel, what connects us to heaven and earth. So specific exercises to actually train yourself to stay. It's almost like training a dog. It's like, stay, don't go, because the mind is creating all kind of crap out there, and the spirit, the soul doesn't have even opportunity to come back in. It just hovers somewhere out there.
Let's
So
do this. Let's have a scenario because I love practical exercises for people. I'm at a
oh,
cocktail party and I'm feeling a bit apprehensive. I don't know that many people. The only person that I know that I've been talking to for the last 20 minutes and I said, "Don't leave me," has just wandered off.
mhm,
And everybody else knows everybody else. And then some snooty pants comes over. Um, just whatever and says something maybe what would they say to me that would make me feel uncomfortable, do you think?
oh,
Who
I don't
do
know,
you
maybe
know
comment.
here? Who do you know here?
Yeah, yeah. What are you doing here? Or who do you know? And
What do you do?
uh,
Oh, that's interesting.
mm-hmm.
I know somebody who does that.
Oh, yeah, isn't that wonderful? So when something like that happens to me, what I do is I squeeze my perineum muscles,
Mm.
which is the Kegel muscle. That actually, when you go to the bathroom and you want to stop the stream of urine, that's a muscle
So that's
for
in your pelvic area,
pelvic floor. So you
pelvic
squeeze
floor.
it,
You
like
squeeze it,
you squeeze it.
right? So you're pulling up your energy from your root chakra.
Yeah, and then you just, and what it does, it actually makes you right away drop from the head into the lower belly and below, so into the pelvic bowl. And that's the first anchor point, what I'm actually teaching people to stay in the body. So you automatically just squeeze your mula bandha. That brings you back inside of you. So if there's somebody there is pushing your buttons, you don't let all the energy go out to them and you feel like you're empty inside and have no idea and you get angry or whatever.
Right, because they're like okay, so here's an example. They're an energy vampire, right? They're coming over to scoop up your energy. And it may not be that they're condescending. It may be that they've come over and they
Mm-hmm.
don't stop and they've leaned really into your space and you're
Mm-hmm.
back against the wall and you can feel your energy. Now, what I practice and I've read this elsewhere is that you move so that your back isn't against the wall. You move away, you keep moving, and you literally have to, excuse me, could you just give me a bit of space, please? Back up. And
Mm-hmm.
then you don't look at them square on, you stand to the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their energy goes that way. And you don't look them in their dominant, is it the right eye? You don't look in the dominant right eye. You stay out of that so that you don't lock in and get your energy sucked out.
Yes, yeah, that's another, it's a protection.
Yeah.
And it works. I'd like to go even deeper beyond protection, but actually be
Yes.
open to it,
Mm-hmm.
open to any kind of garbage that comes to us, but not letting it affect us. So I don't know if I'm explaining. It's almost like the exercise what I would do with a client to learn how to deal with this kind of situation
Mm.
is to work with simple things like take a glass of water and just you do the central channel breath, you squeeze your mula bandha, you feel yourself in the heart and in the throat and in the center of the brain. That's like a whole big thing to learn. At first everybody's like, what the hell, how am I breathing over there? But it is totally doable. And then you just start breathing in the central channel and you feel what it feels like when I'm actually in my body as the light, breathing in and out in this body, connecting to Mother Earth, squeezing my mula bandha, squeezing my shoulder blades, having open heart. And get used to that feeling. Does it feel warm? Does it feel open, tingling? Whatever the thing is, it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a certain way. And then imagine somebody who pushes your buttons just walks into the room and you let all the energy out at them. When I picture it, I feel like, I'm just like empty, I'm cold, I'm like, oh, I don't like it. And then
Mm.
I have, and you have, everybody has the ability to choose to bring it right back in. Bring the energy, what you throw at them because they push the buttons, they squeeze you against the wall, or asking these questions that are so annoying. I'm here. And then I can approach them with not trying to protect myself, but actually engaging them with open heart and love. And whatever comes out then is good. And usually these people don't like that because they want to get their fix on our reaction and make us feel bad, or sometimes unintentionally. So
Yeah, they can get allergic to the positivity that's coming out of your heart. Grounded
yeah,
heart.
yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what we need to do on the regular basis, at least 100 times a day in the beginning. Go out for a walk, look at the tree, stay, and then look at the tree. That's easy. It doesn't trigger us, right? It's like, and then send all your energy out there. It's like, oh, what kind of tree is this? And they start making, oh, it's a pretty tree. It's an ugly tree. Oh, who is looking? Who is in the body? Who am I? And so that's a subject object, being always in a subject, and objects can move and do whatever they want, but I am here
Hmm.
watching a movie, reading a book, even staying at those times where there's nothing really triggering. Just reading a book. It's like, who's reading? Oh, I'm still here. Okay.
I love that sense of ever presence that you speak to, and grounded ever presence, and grounded embodiment from that perspective,
Yeah.
because it is something, I'm finding this just everywhere, which is so consoling, is that we're all teaching or way showing or experiencing in community techniques to do this. So I do, you've done DCT with
Yeah.
me, deep coherence technique, and it's I've got a friend who does Qigong. Is it Qigong?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Qigong. Yeah. Qigong.
Qigong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've got another friend who has a more of a traditional yoga practice, and they said, it's really interesting that there are so many similarities, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever. If you watch it, it's whatever speaks to you, right? It's whatever can get you to that still 0 point of oneness with the I am is the deal. And nature is a great training area because nature is present. You can't not be present with nature. You can't not be present with animals. You can't not be present with small children. Okay. But
Yes.
most people, because of the way we're raised, most people are in protection mode, or they're out, they've left the building. They've left
Mm-hmm.
the building. And I jokingly, there's a show that's called Severance that everybody's watching. It's a brilliant show. And I jokingly say that this world is designed to sever you. Severance
Mm-hmm.
is real. And we're all finding our way back home. So um that's incredible, what you teach. And again, I just want to say that I have experienced that presence with you, and it was I think I told you this afterwards, said that was delicious.
Oh, yes.
It
Yeah.
was it was delicious.
Yeah. Isn't it? That
Mm,
just to have these glimpses to know yourself as the one behind
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
The greatest love affair of all, right?
exactly. And even when we talk about self-love, it still implies that there is me and there is self. We don't even need self-love once we become one.
Right. It sounds so abstract
Self-love
too, doesn't it?
is better than hating yourself, but
Yeah.
it's a next level of like knowing that I am
Yeah.
like I just am.
Right.
And then it gives
Exactly.
spark. And also, I really it kind of bugs me a little bit in this world right now that it's sort of called of spiritual people. They can't make it in the physical world
Mm.
because they decided that they're too spiritual to make money. Money is and all these kind of stuff. Um, it's not true. And also some business people think they can't be spiritual. So talking about what my mission or what my idea is to bring it all back together because we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in the physical body.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think you and I both recognize too that there is this wave of we don't have to choose anymore. We can have it all. And we're going
Mhm.
to be integrated into unity consciousness. That's the spirit of the age that we've just entered into. The cosmic age is marked by unity consciousness. And I had a conversation in my podcast recently with a chap called Neil Dugan, who also teaches meditation to corporate, big corporate, not little local stores, but big corporate. And he talks about spiritual entrepreneurs and how that's a thing now. It's a thing. So I think it's encouraging that if it's actually it's becoming more common than previously, and that's a great sign because it just means that we're evolving. That's what it means as a society. We've got ways to go, but we're evolving. Now I want to it's been great having this conversation with you, Tiiu, and what we're going to do is in the show notes put ways in which people can reach out to you if they have questions, would like to know more about your work. So we'll definitely be putting that in the show notes. But is there anything coming up for you that perhaps you want to let people know about now? It will timestamp this video, but it doesn't matter.
Yes. I would like to just reiterate again and again and again that you are the light that you have been looking for. And it doesn't have to be hard to find it, it just takes work. And sometimes doing silly exercises, what seems like, oh, what is that going to do? But just trust that none of these teachers who teach, they didn't just wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to teach that. That comes from thousands and thousands of years of knowledge from sages and gurus and all these people. So it's like it comes together and it is simple, but it's not easy. And breathing, knowing I breathe in and I breathe out. That's the simplest way of meditation. And yeah, and also I don't want people to make it complicated in their mind. Oh, it's something I can never reach. And people can sometimes tell me, oh, good for you. It works for you. I'm like, no, I'm not special. It works for everybody.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a really powerful point to close on. And I want to direct people. There was a medieval nun. Now there weren't many of these women that were allowed to speak and teach, but she was, I think her name was, I think it was St. Hilda. And I'm paraphrasing, but at the end of her exaltation about going and finding the divine, the kingdom of God within, she just said, disregard everything that you've heard. So she was in the Catholic Church. She just said, just quietly follow your breath and you'll get there. And I was like, whoa, 12th century, that's pretty badass spirituality going on there, you
Oh,
know?
yes. It brought
So,
goosebumps, and I wanted to scream amen to this.
amen, sister.
As
Probably
simple as that. And it doesn't cost you anything. It might
doesn't
cost
cost you, it's free.
a little bit to learn and trust what it is, and you can take it
Mm.
home, and you don't have to buy expensive equipment and nothing. You just
No,
do breathe in.
you don't need a grounding mat. You can go outside with your bare
Oh,
feet.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
I'm not,
Let's
you
go
know,
for another.
you just go out there, dudes, and just rock it on the planet,
I
right? I
know
mean,
all
it's
these
if you
gadgets,
want, it's the best way to ground. So,
yeah,
um,
gadgets and widgets and all these stuff and meditations. You put yourself into the beach
yeah.
somewhere. No, bring yourself into the body, not onto the beach, and then work from there, inside out, like you said. It has to come to the place that it's come from, not getting to.
Well, let's end on this thought too,
Yeah.
because what is so often the case, there's even in Buddhism and other traditions like that, there's a great emphasis on what they call the divine mind. It's still mind. It's still mind. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
the body knows the way, right? That is the easiest way to click in to who you are as the I am. It's not through intellectualizing, visualization, or through your mind. It starts here and then it permeates out through breath.
Yeah.
And that's how we were created.
Yeah. Heart is the only important thing that heals everything, it knows everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, even mindset is still mind. It's like, oh, it's,
Mindfulness, still the mind.
I
So
know. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, you
We need
know,
another hour to talk
we've had a
about
bit
that.
of a we've had a bit of a tear around there, but I think you get the point,
Yes.
guys. We're not being prescriptive here. We're just saying, the easiest route to yourself is to the truth is through yourself. That's the path. You're the way.
Mm-hmm.
And really it's more of a case. It's not a case of finding it. It's more of a case of uncovering it. It's uncovering it. It's pulling all the other crap off the top of it that's just
Yes.
piled on top and stopped you from seeing it. It's like a dirty window. So, all right, we'll definitely put your information out there for folks. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your service to humanity and for your divine feminine wisdom, your godly woman wisdom. It is so needed on this planet at the moment, and continue to shine your beautiful light for the rest of us.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you,
Jacqueline.
my friend.
Honor to be here. All the best.
Thank you.
Many blessings to you. And